No, I suppose by any measure, Steve Jobs is possibly the most successful chief executive in corporate history. I mean, Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy when he returned to the company in the 90s. He turned that around completely. It's now the most valuable company by market capitalization. You know, he's introduced products that people just really want to wait for. I mean, there's just this huge, I suppose, good feeling towards Apple, and you know, it's an iconic brand. But I suppose it's not really as a businessman only that his importance is. I mean, everyone talks about design at Apple, and I suppose sometimes people confuse that very much with the look and feel of the products. I mean, the iPhone, the iPad, they all look great. But I mean, for Jobs, it was much more than just what a product looked like. It was about the functionality. He was the one who insisted that the iPhone had to have only one button. The Microsoft engineers and designers really struggled with that, but I mean, he just was totally insistent on it. He really cared about how products looked on the inside, how things, components were laid out, and that, you know, that were done in not just an aesthetically pleasing way, but in a very functional way that would really make sure they operated the way he wanted them to as well. I mean, he famously didn't believe in market research or anything. He said, you know, people's ideas of what they wanted will change, and really what he wanted to just push the people, the talent in Apple to produce great products. He had a great line, you know, if you were creating a beautiful sideboard or, you know, wooden product, you wouldn't put a piece of chipboard on the back. You know, even though no one would ever see it, you would know it was there, and that was very much what he brought to his products. And I think why products like the starting, I suppose, really with the iPhone, the iPod, then the iPhone and the iPad really were just so important. I mean, Jobs wasn't an easy person to work with by all accounts. I mean, I think it would be fair to say that Apple was ruled with an iron fist. Famously, executives wouldn't get the lift in the building he worked in case he got trapped in the lift with Steve, and you had to you know, answer awkward questions because he was always working and always thinking about the company and its products. You know, he could be quite ruthless with people who, you know, if there's ever any issues with the company. But at the same time, apparently he was hugely loyal and hugely inspired people. I mean, the first team that made the first Macintosh he kept it really small, 100 people, and you know, he had this sort of pirate feel about it. I mean, they flew the Jolly Roger flag. You know, he sort of kept them separate from the rest of the company, and I think that's a really important thing about him, that he was of that sort of post-baby boom generation. He did things his way. When he came back to Apple after he'd been sort of sidelined in the 80s, he really did it his way, and you know, he wasn't the sort of button down corporate Fortune 500 CEO. Steve Jobs did it his own way. You know, he really was passionate about things, you know, and didn't always take the easy route and the safe route. And I think you know, certainly the consumer electronics industry and computer industry will be a poorer place without him. I think you know, we won't see leaders like him again, and you know, it's hard to know whether Apple will continue. Maybe certainly in the short term it will, but in the long term, whether it will be as important and as vital a company without him.